Anyway, so here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. And we'll go into the Distractotron for this, so... I had a feeling, because I was looking at some of his other posts, I had a feeling that Ragnar Tørnquist, the lead writer of Dustborn, the creative lead of the game, and the head of Red Thread Games, who used all that government money to make that piece of shit, I had a feeling he name searches, because I've seen him interacting with other people. So I wrote this post where I said, so I finished Dustborn, and I was wrong about it being 5 writers who never communicated with each other. Apparently Red Thread Games head Ragnar Tørnquist wrote most of it based on his own Twitter brain rot. It was the most disjointed nonsense that I couldn't even keep its own plot and lore consistent. So I specifically named him because I had a feeling he name searches. And I got him, guys. I got him. He fell for it. There he is. There he is. But let's all refresh what Dustborn is, actually. So we're just gonna rob people? We're just gonna rob people. That's what we're planning right now. Well, our robot ran off with our bus, so we are entitled to attract Hell's Angels over here to the Denny's parking lot, beat the shit out of them, and steal their property. That's what we're doing right now. That is what we are doing right now.
Is it really a good idea to go face-to-face with these idiots?
Well, I'm skipping the combat anyway, so I don't care. And we're just leaving this place on fire. We're the heroes, guys. We're the fucking heroes.
Get out of here.
I knew we should have taken her big bike. It's so much cooler.
What did they say? Cocktails that go boom.
We're literally just gonna murder these people. And this is just because we lost our car. Yeah, we're the heroes. We're the heroes. Even though we just robbed these people and they're justifiably angry at us, and now I'm just killing them all. With fire. That's okay, though. They all somehow survived this, because the game couldn't decide if it wanted to be like a goofy kind of Borderlands romp, or if it was going to be, like, grounded and serious. Because, like, so the game is all about, like, Twitter culture, but taken seriously. Our heroes can bully and cancel and trigger people. And they just do whatever the fuck they want and are entitled to whatever they want. It's a fun watch. I was going crazy, but I had a lot of real criticisms for it. I had some compliments, mostly for the design of things, never for the writing at any point, except for the Betty and Henry robots for some reason. Whoever wrote that storyline was cooking. But it's terrible. And the worst part is what caused America to fall to fascism was JFK not being assassinated. Which is just a strange choice. And I tried to explain this to him. So anyway, he says, if you watch the credits, you'd see the game had 3 writers. I was one of them. We spoke pretty much every day. You don't have to like the game. We welcome good faith criticism, but it helps to get the facts straight. Yeah, so there were 2 other writers, but Ragnar's name was in big fucking letters as lead writer. So buddy, if you want to take all the credit, you gotta take all the blame. So I started questioning him about the game. I want to go back to down to my first part first. I said, well, I have a few questions. Why were the Puritans barely set up narratively before suddenly becoming our final villains? So yeah, the Puritans are these all-white transhumanists from California. Hang on, actually, I bet they have the concept art online. So California is ruled by corporations and is its own country, and these guys are part of it. We encounter these guys maybe like... We encounter the kid, like he talks to us in our dreams, but these 2 we encounter twice. And the second time is like the final fight with them. These are the people we steal from in the beginning of the game, but they hardly come up the entire time. We're mostly focused on justice, the supposed fascists of the Republic, which is like the rest of the country. So already, like, why was this woman just suddenly our main villain when, like, she justifiably was chasing us for you know, robbing her and stealing data from them and corporate espionage. So, like, what did she do wrong exactly except be a transhumanist corporate lady? Anyway, and I said, why were the supposedly fascist justice the heroes that swept in and saved us from the spooky transhumanist Californians? Because that's what happens. The justice guys, who are supposed to be like this big fascist militant police force who use non-lethal laser guns, just let us go at one point, and then come and rescue us from the Californians. And he wonders why this sounds like a parody. And he goes, "Thanks for asking. The Puritans could have used more screen time. It's something we discussed during development, but didn't have a good solution for." How do you not have a solution for, like, keeping focus on who is supposed to be your main bad guy, apparently? You're the writer, bro. It was your job to find a solution to this issue. "We added additional scenes and dialogue for the Herald and Overseer in recent patches," which I must have played the game after the recent patches, so it didn't seem like a lot, so there was even less of them before? Yeah, and I said the solution would be to actually involve them in the plot, I'd say, and he never answered that one. And then I asked, why were all the villainous leaders women? Because they were. Every single one of them. Every single, like, actually villainous antagonist was a woman. Yes, there's a male president supposedly in charge of all this, but we never see him. He's alluded to, like, twice. They clearly ran out of their generous government funding, because the end of the game is just nothing. Even they gave up at the end. It's just, like, buzzing through, like, the bare minimum scenes to get to the ending. It's insane. And then my second question was, for that matter, why did you imply that our president, who was famously assassinated for being too progressive and tried to dismantle the CIA, well, allegedly, would have plunged America into fascism had he survived? Because if you don't know, the alt history twist of Dustborn is JFK survived his assassination, Jackie O died instead, JFK remarried to Marilyn Monroe, who was already dead by that point. And together they founded the militant police force Justice that eventually plunged America into fascism. Here's where it gets wild, because he cannot take the L on this, even though he is not American. And he's writing, like, a political story about our country, thinking he knows what he's talking about because he just, like, reads anti-Trump tweets on Twitter every day. This is discussed in a couple of dialogues, and a book players can pick up in multiple scenes. There was one dialogue where Pax's sister is like, "This isn't what JFK would have wanted." And then Pax goes, "This is exactly what JFK would have wanted." And, you know, Pax has that sort of protagonist morality where everything she does is automatically right. So why wouldn't we think Pax is the right one, since she's never wrong anyway? And the plot revolves around her. So what, her sister read a bunch of books and decided JFK didn't really cause the fascism, but that's her personal opinion. How are we supposed to know that's, like, factual in the game's story, you know? So, I said, right, because the book is about Marilyn Monroe, who's called Lady Justice, and who Gnome says is responsible for the modern republic. So I said, right, so, Marilyn Monroe, who, he has somehow remarried to after she died, plunged America into fascism. Lady Justice, the one responsible for the modern republic, which your story claims is fascist. Why did you turn this woman who was very progressive in her lifetime into the problem? And he goes, in our alternate timeline, Marilyn did not die. I have a feeling he just didn't even know she died a year before JFK, but that's okay. Otherwise, she'd be dead. She supported JFK's vision for America after his death, thus Lady Justice. She was not responsible for what subsequent presidents did to Justice, nor does the text claim that. Anyway, thanks for being willing to learn more, and I think he muted me here. Oh no, he didn't mute me here, but he did eventually mute me, I think. I said, well, you did have your made-up president, Ward, who was not present in the game at all, which is true. We saw, like, billboards of this guy, but he has absolutely zero presence in the game. So all any American can do is be absolutely baffled why you chose JFK and Marilyn Monroe to be the people to lead the USA into fascism when they were both progressives. You had Nixon or Reagan right there. And he goes, again, neither of them led America into fascism. That happened through the actions of others. I'm turning Canadian. Sometimes actions have unintended consequences. Sometimes we do good things that lead to bad things, even if it's not on us. That's life. That's partly what this game is about. But yeah, but still, the main crux of what led to fascism in America was JFK surviving. That is my point, my dude. You know? I said, but the overall outcome of this narrative decision of yours is JFK not being assassinated resulted in the United States becoming fascist. There's really no getting around that. And that's rightfully laughable to Americans. Like, I still don't understand. Why did you choose JFK and Marilyn Monroe of all people? You had Nixon right there, buddy. You could have just had Nixon refuse to resign and also refuse to be impeached. And then he just put America under martial law, and it still is. Boom. Easy. Fixed. I'm trying to explain to him why this is so weird to Americans, and he's just not accepting it. Even though I was born and raised in the country he is talking about. Anyway, he was getting real fucking elitist as well. Let me just look at my own replies, because I might be able to find these, Well, this guy was saying, Nixon is right there. You're describing the most obvious cliche route. And I'm like, yeah, but Ragnar said they didn't even choose JFK for the irony. So, like, why did you choose JFK is what I don't understand. You know? He was like, so this other guy, or chick, this other chick got into it with him. And this is the Romanian who was like, I think JFK is just the most known president, American president in Europe, and that's why they chose him. And it's not even that deep. And I'm like, I am inclined to agree. They said, in other words, you wanted to include JFK or Marilyn Monroe in your game because as a Norwegian guy, those two American figures you're most familiar with, right? No need to dive deeper into the country's history and politics. Those two pop culture icons will do. And he goes, sigh. He has to, like, roleplay. Two of the game's 3 writers were American, very well versed in American history. Alternate history is alternate history, not reality. We built a story around real characters, familiar and recognizable to most people in the world, even to non-Americans. Our fictional story is pure fiction. Yeah, dude, I know it's fiction, but you still chose JFK to be the president that directly results in there being fascism. Being American doesn't make you an expert in American history. I am Romanian, and yet I have many American friends who keep telling me I know more about their history, culture, and laws than them. This dude, chick, whoever, this person also called themselves a freeaboo, which I think is great. That's better than Westaboo when it's America specifically. Freeaboo. And he goes, so you're lecturing and berating our college-educated American writers for not being experts in American history? Oh, they're college-educated, guys. They're college-educated. We need to really respect that. Obviously, nobody with a college degree could write a shitty fucking plot, even though you all did. Like, dude, he is, like, the quintessential, like, well-off, smug lefty, but he's not even American, you know? Like, how do you do this? Like, he is so brain-rotted by American Twitter, and he's not even American. It's insane. It's amazing. I think he also, like, was lifting off, oh yeah, he lifts off, like, all the awards they've won. All the writers I hired won awards, so the story can't be bad. Like, that is so elitist. Oh my god, how problematic, Ragnar Tørnquist. So, yeah, and then I said, it's funny because Nixon was right there. All you had to do was make it that instead of resigning or being impeached, Nixon turned the USA into a dictatorship. Boom, simple, believable. And since fascism also gave us robots, apparently, he could have looked something like this. Nixon's back! Best episode of Futurama. I just wanted an excuse to post that. But let's go look at his other exchanges with other people. Because this guy, even a year later, cannot take the fucking L. He can't. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is he seriously trying to... He's posted this 4 fucking hours ago. He is seriously trying to compare his Justice guys, who are a mix of prequel droids and the cops from Demolition Man. That is what they come across like. He's comparing that to the actual threat of martial law in the United States right now. Bro, shut the fuck up. You are in Norway. You have no say on any of that. You don't even know what it's like to live here. You have never even been here as far as I fucking know. No, you're bumbling-ass Justice guys who all use non-lethal laser guns, by the way. Who are so polite to people and call them ma'am, and let murderous criminals go because they might be right about there being secret underground child experimentation camps. Yeah, they're exactly like the fucking threat of, like, military presence in DC right now because of our fucking crazy-ass president. Yeah, it's exactly the fucking same. Jeez, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. I am not... I should have been meaner. I should have been meaner.
Remember when a justice cop hears someone say justice suck or something like that, their reaction is a meek, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, like I said, they carry non-lethal laser guns, and he has the fucking balls to compare that to a military presence in Washington, D.C. in real life right now. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. Holy shit, I did not expect to get this angry at this guy.
Helena McNeil sent a super chat. As an American, I wish other countries would stop trying to comment on our politics right now. Yes, we know shit sucks. We are aware.
Yeah, we're very aware. More aware than you. But, like, my god, guy, you made a shitty game. You gotta accept you made a shitty, badly written game. Like, nothing can excuse the ending. Even if you want to give the writing the benefit of the doubt, nothing can excuse the ending. And how they just, like, flashed quick through a bunch of incomprehensible scenes and then just kind of ended. And we never even saw Nova Scotia. You know?